What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to TTP Sports. This is your second video of the day, and we're going to be talking some Flyers hockey, but actually some breaking news to start off this video. And this is kind of scary, because the whole new thing with the CBA right now is that teams cannot disclose what happens to a player if they have to leave for some reason, if they can't play or they can't participate in practice. They are not allowed to basically disclose anything. They're not allowed to give any information out because of the privacy towards the players, just because of the difficult times that we are in currently. And the Flyers were having a scrimmage today against each other, orange versus black, and Carter Hart was in net, I think, for the orange team, and he left the ice early. He went to the locker room, didn't return to the scrimmage, and now all Flyers, the whole fan base, is in panic right now. It's very scary as I consistently update Twitter, because I am currently doing that as I speak. And Carter Hart was supposed to talk to the media today as well, and they just announced that he's not going to be talking to the media, because I'm assuming it's to prevent the whole thing going about like what happened to him during a practice. But it's hard not to be scared right now. It's very hard not to be scared because you're going into the playoffs. They start next week. Your first exhibition is basically 1 week from today in Toronto against the Pittsburgh Penguins. And we're basically not going to find out what happened to Carter Hart until, if he's not in the next practice, he's not in the next scrimmage, or you'll find out if he's there, if he's playing the scrimmage, then he's okay. If he's not, then something is wrong because the team in the NHL is not allowed to tell anyone about it. And I can understand the frustration behind it, but I can understand why they want to protect the players so badly, just because of this whole situation going around the entire world. But, and the same thing happened with Jake Voracek a couple days ago, where the Flyers were going to have a scrimmage, he wasn't able to participate, and then it found out that there was something wrong with his test, and he had to get tested once again, which he did test negative, so that was a whole scary situation right there. But this situation is different entirely because Hart was playing in the game. He left early and didn't return. So we're basically just going to have to wait until the next practice, the next scrimmage, because the Flyers leave for Toronto this weekend. And if something is wrong with Carter Hart, that is terrifying, because we finally go into the playoffs. We have the goaltender. We have the guy that can bring us to the promised land in the future. And we don't know what's wrong with him because he maybe tweaked something during the game. And this could also be an overreaction as well. Maybe he tweaked something during the game. He felt some discomfort, and they took him out for precautionary reasons to not make the situation any worse. That can also be a situation. But if it was an equipment, a lot of people were saying it could have been an equipment issue, but I feel like that would have been announced immediately, that it was just an equipment issue, and he would have been back on the ice immediately. But he never returned to the game, so it couldn't have been an equipment issue. So basically, you're just going to have to play it by ear at this point and wait until the next practice or wait until the next scrimmage if Carter Hart is going to be on the roster for that team. And it's just hard to think about right now, just because we're so very close to the exhibition games, the round-robin tournament, and the playoffs starting. And granted, I guess the Flyers do have a break because the round-robin doesn't mean anything. You're just reseeding at this point, and you're getting the team back into game shape. So there's really no hurt for the Flyers if they want to rest Carter Hart just to make sure that nothing is wrong with him. But at the same time, it's scary because you don't know anything. And that's going to be the whole problem going through this process, is that if something happens to a player, you're never going to find out what's wrong with them. If they have COVID, if they're injured, I understand it's the privacy, but it's going to lead to constant overreaction within every team's fan base. And that is currently what is happening with the Flyers fan base right now, because no one knows what is wrong with Carter Hart. So we're basically just going to have to play it by ear at this point. So hopefully if the Flyers have practices tomorrow, maybe he's back on the ice. Maybe they'll have a scrimmage in the next few days and he's back on there. But hopefully he is back before the team leaves to Toronto. I'm assuming he's going to travel with the team. That's probably a definite. But hopefully there is nothing really wrong with Carter Hart. So let's move on into the other topics of this video. So the Flyers, in terms of their scheduling, like I said earlier in the video, they are going to play an exhibition game next Tuesday the 28th against the Pittsburgh Penguins. I don't remember the time off my head. I think it's a 3 o'clock or a 4 o'clock start. And the same thing with the NHL. They're doing because I think the exhibition game is going to be on NBC Sports Philadelphia. So I think they're going to be doing the same thing basically as every other team is doing, like the MLB. The teams will have their home announcers be at their home arenas, just going through a live feed from the arena in Toronto. So it's going to be a nice thing right there. You get the Battle of Pennsylvania, and that's going to be the first exhibition game to start off everything, basically. So you're going to be having exhibition games throughout until the round robin and the qualifying round start. And going into the round robin tournament, the Flyers originally had the last game of the round robin tournament on, I think, the 9th of August, which was a Sunday against the Tampa Bay Lightning. That got swapped with the Washington Capitals and the Boston Bruins, so they basically just flip-flop days. So now the Flyers will be playing the 2nd against Boston, the 6th against Washington, and now the 8th against the Tampa Bay Lightning, which is a Saturday. And the Washington-Boston game, that got flip-flopped to the 9th. So they'll be the last game of the round-robin tournament for the Eastern Conference. So it's a little flip-flop right there in the schedule. And then there have been award announcements in the NHL right now, and there's 3 awards that Flyers are nominated for. So you got the Bill Masterton Trophy, which is basically about dedication to the sport of hockey, and Oskar Lindblom was one of the nominees for the Philadelphia Flyers. For that, he was one of the finalists, actually. It's him, Bobby Ryan of the Ottawa Senators, and Stephen Jones of the Dallas Stars. 3 great stories right there. Stephen Jones, he was told that he might not be able to play hockey, basically, because last season he was out with a bunch of head injuries, and he managed to play a full season this year, so that's a great story right there. The whole situation going on with Bobby Ryan and his whole struggling with alcohol, the whole story with his family going up, and his first game back, he scored a hat trick, just getting through his therapy and getting through all that stuff with the alcohol problems. That's a great story right there. And then everyone knows the whole situation going on with Oskar Lindblom being diagnosed with cancer early in the season, having to stop his season, going through a bunch of the cancer treatments during COVID of all things as well. And then he finally, just a couple weeks ago, he finished his final treatments and he rang the bell. So that's a nice thing for Oskar Lindblom right there. I'm not going to say who's going to win this trophy because I just don't want to debate between 3 great stories. But I know if you're a Flyers fan, you're hoping Oskar wins that award and you think he deserves it. But all 3 of these guys are deserving of the award. So not going to debate on that. But then you go into the Jack Adams Trophy, which is the best coach during the regular season. So you got Bruce Cassidy of the Boston Bruins, John Tortorella of the Columbus Blue Jackets, and Alain Vigneault of the Philadelphia Flyers. So during the season, the NHL always posts on their social medias, their Twitter, their Instagram, maybe their Facebook. I'm not sure about Facebook at this point. But they usually post pictures of each trophy and the votes that they're going through. So there was one week where they showed the Jack Adams voting. And Alain Vigneault was in first place at that point during that time of the Instagram post, and I think John Tortorella was second, and I think Bruce Cassidy was third. Credit me if I'm wrong. But I know Alain Vigneault and John Tortorella were the top 2. And honestly, going into the season, I didn't expect Alain Vigneault to be nominated for the Jack Adams. But it's nice seeing that just because of where the team was the previous years when the Dave Haxtell era. Oh, God, I don't want to remember that. But just him coming in here with a new coaching staff, getting this team in the right shape, and just how good this team was throughout the entire season. That's just, you can give a lot of credit to Alain Vigneault right there. You can get a lot of credit that we have an actual goaltender in Carter Hart, and both of our goaltenders playing equally well. And then you could also give credit to the front office, Chuck Fletcher, and give credit to the players as well. They were buying into the system that Alain Vigneault brought in, and the other coaches, Mike Yeo, Michel Therrien. It's just a great thing right there, and Alain Vigneault has a great chance to win the Jack Adams Trophy. But in my honest opinion, I think John Tortorella is going to win the Jack Adams. Maybe Alain Vigneault wins it, but I feel like it'll be a tight race. Maybe, maybe not. But I do feel like John Tortorella is going to win this trophy just because at the beginning of the season, Columbus was predicted to finish at the bottom of the Metropolitan Division standings because they lost guys like Panarin, they lost guys like Bobrovsky, Duchesne, Dzingel, all those players. And they still managed to buy into Tortorella's system. And throughout the entire season, Columbus was just flustered with injuries. They were just, basically the hockey gods were saying, hey, we do not want you to make the playoffs. Take all these injuries. But they still played very good. They got a guy in net called Merzlikins who played very well coming in. And just what John Tortorella was able to do with that team and can keep them in the competing territory, and they managed to get into the 24-team tournament. I feel like John Tortorella is the favorite to win this award. Credit me if I'm wrong, but I feel like John Tortorella is the favorite. Who knows, maybe Alain Vigneault will win the award as well, but we'll just have to wait and see at this point. And for the Selke Trophy, Sean Couturier is the Flyers finalist. Patrice Bergeron is one of the other finalists for the Boston Bruins, and Ryan O'Reilly of the St. Louis Blues is the finalist for the St. Louis Blues. So the top three right there. And obviously, I feel like this award has to go to Sean Couturier. Granted, Patrice Bergeron, he's had so many years in a row where he's a top three finalist for the Selke Trophy. But I just feel like this year, it's Sean Couturier's year. Because halfway through the season, they had their midway award votes, and Sean Couturier was the favorite to win the Selke Trophy. He won first place mid-season. So I just feel like he is the favorite to win this award, and there's a lot of hockey writers on social media that are posting what they said in their ballots. A lot of them had Sean Couturier as the first place ballot. So that's very nice to see right there for the Flyers. Sean Couturier finally getting the recognition that he deserves, and that's going to continue to grow throughout the rest of his tenure here. And I feel like he's going to be a consistent Selke finalist. Maybe he'll win a couple more down the road. I'm not going to say to the extent of Patrice Bergeron, because Patrice Bergeron was just on another level of his two-way game, which is phenomenal. But I feel like this is going to be the stretch where Sean Couturier is going to become a consistent finalist for the Selke Trophy, which is very nice to see right there. And basically at this point, it's just nice to see that we're getting hockey back. Like I said in the previous video about baseball, it's starting up again this week. Hockey is starting around next week to the beginning of August, and it's a great time. It's a great time to be a sports fan. Just hopefully at this point Carter Hart isn't hurt too badly, because that is going to break my heart, which is mostly broken at this point with this entire news going on right now. But hopefully we just pray right now to the hockey gods that nothing is wrong and he is okay to participate in the next practice or the scrimmage, or the Flyers are just being very precautionary at this point, which is very understandable. If you tweak something, you feel a little bit of discomfort, just go out, just take them out, and just be precautionary that you don't make it any worse. So that might be the best option at that point. But we're basically, right now, we're not going to find any news about Carter Hart just because of the whole new rule going on with the CBA. So it's to protect the players' privacy, so we're just going to have to wait and see at this point. So, what are your thoughts on the Flyers going into the playoffs right now? What are your whole thoughts on the Carter Hart situation? Because I know a lot of people are scared about this right now. So don't forget to leave your thoughts down in the comment section. Don't forget to drop a like on this video. Don't forget to just subscribe. And I will see you next time.